Welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director, and today we are talking about tonight's big WCTV region matchup, week one of the region. We've got head football coach from Centennial, Matt Kriesky, head football coach from Independence, Scott Blade. Appreciate you guys both being here.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
So tonight's WCTV game of the week, it's week 3, but it's the first region game of the year for both teams. So I'll start with you, Coach Blade. Your teams have had different results the first 2 weeks, but I got a feeling both of you are telling your teams, hey, this is game one in the part of the season that really matters. Obviously, you want to win every game, but tonight starts the ones that really make a difference.
Yeah, tonight we have a very tough region, and so every region game is of utmost importance and a must-win situation. So definitely tonight is a new beginning for both teams, and got a ton of relevance to it.
Coach Kriesky, obviously your team, you're pretty fired up entering at 2-0, but I'm sure you're having to sell that same message. Hey, we're excited. We had 2 great weeks, but tonight is a little bit different because it is a region game.
Yes, these kids know how tough this game will be tonight. Coach Blade and his team has played two tough teams the past 2 weeks. So it's going to be, we're going to have a challenge tonight. We've been fortunate the past 2 weeks. Things have gone our way. The ball's bounced our way. These seniors have not beat Independence since they've been here. So they know the challenge they've got ahead of them, and they know it's going to be a tough task tonight.
Coach Kriesky, let's stick with you. The energy and mindset around your team is a little bit different right now than it's been. I mean, you and I have talked about it quite a bit. You've had this young team the past couple of years, and now you're sort of coming to age. You're still playing a lot of young guys, but you have some guys who've got a little bit of experience. You win those 2 non-region games, but such a dominant fashion in those wins. It has to be a confidence builder starting off 2-0.
Yes, it has been. You look at us defensively, we got pretty much 2 seniors on the D-line. Secondary-wise, we're playing pretty young, a freshman and 3 sophomores. We also have 2 seniors that rotate in. But, yeah, overall we're young. Majority of these juniors played last year as sophomores, so they're getting some experience. And for them, for the past 2 weeks to get some confidence underneath their belt has really helped. And I got to praise the senior leadership with Cannon Plowman and Josh Forsey. They've done a great job kind of mentoring it and helping out these young guys this entire offseason, the summer, and going into the fall, because those guys know that we need these young guys to have success for us to have any success this year, especially in a region game like tonight.
Coach Blade, you played maybe 2 of the best teams you'll play all year long to start your season. So regardless of record, regardless of result, obviously those were going to be tough games. And even though this is region game 1 tonight, do you still have to be sort of a psychologist, so to speak, to talk about that, to say, hey, that's out of the way. Let's don't worry about that. Let's focus on tonight. Is that part of your job too this past week?
Yeah. The teams are we like to say broken or forged. Are we broken? Are we forged from the fire? Learning from the teams. Those are 2 of the best teams in the state, and one of them it may not even be close. But they're the most talented teams I've ever seen. Lipscomb did not have any holes on it. Very talented, and we don't see another team as talented as them. That's the reality. There's a lot of real good teams, real good football teams, but as far as a talent level, it's not on our schedule. It doesn't mean we're going to win a game this year. It just means that is the gold standard of talent right now. So are we forged from the fire, or are we broken from the flames type of thing? So are we forged? Did we learn our lessons? Did we get better? Playing teams like that, it's going to do one of 2 things. You're either going to learn, and we've been coaching hard on, they're going to show you your mistakes. They're not going to let you get away with mistakes. They're going to show you your mistakes. And it's up to us as coaches and players to correct them and keep moving forward. Because it is, we do have an incredible schedule left on our plate the next, and starting with tonight. So that's where we're at. We at times, had a chance, some make or break points against CPA that did not go our way, and the game got out of hand. And then, but CPA played like state champions. That's what state champions do. And Lipscomb Academy is loaded, and at times we did some good things, but just not near as enough to give ourselves make that game a close game. So, it is where we're at, but again, the mantra is, are we forged from that fire we just went through, and is it going to make us stronger going down the road, or are we broken from the flames and the smoke, and psychologically can't recover? I choose to believe we have had a good day, albeit in the gym. I think we've been out one day outside in the last 2.5 weeks. It's been on everybody's front, been extremely difficult to even prepare when you're practicing in an ox gym. But we feel like we're doing what we can to keep moving forward.
Coach Kriesky, do you think, because you've had different starts to your years, just like Coach Blade has this year, do you think it's easier to maybe get the attention of your team after a loss, after a couple losses versus a win? You hear people say that sometimes. I don't know if I ever truly bought into that one way or the other, but what are your thoughts about that? The being 2-0, hey guys, come on now, we got to focus. We're glad you're pumped up and confident, but maybe dial that back versus, hey, we've lost a couple. What are your thoughts about that, Coach Kriesky?
Well, every team that you coach every year is different. Big thing for us, coming off the season we did last year, going in the season, I wanted the guys to get some confidence before we played a region game. I felt like the previous years going into the region games, either we had stockpile of injuries or, got beat up the week before, and our confidence level, I could see in the practice, wasn't there. It's different this year. These guys are more upbeat, ready to practice, are ready to compete every day. And one thing that's great, these young guys are competing at practice, so it brings the level of practice up. So I think this year, us going into a season, especially starting out 2-0, really helps going into a region game. I felt like if we came out and we were either 1-1 or 0-2 heading into tonight's game, I feel like we wouldn't have as much energy as we've had this past week in practice. That's what we really needed this year is the start that we've had. But our kids know we made a lot of mistakes against Lincoln County, and they know that if we make the same mistakes that we did Friday night, that Coach Blade and his team, they're going to expose us. So we've had a challenging week, and it's kind of good, not kind of good, but as coaches, we were glad we were able to see some of those mistakes that we made and be able to correct them and be able to let the kids know and that we got exposed in little areas that can't happen Friday night against a good Independence team. Our kids know, the kids around here, that they're smart kids in this county. They know that Coach Blade and his team has played two tremendous teams, outstanding teams that are probably going to, the top two teams in the state. And so they without a doubt know how tough Friday night's going to be for us.
Coaches, as I look back in the history of this game, last year, Independence with a 34-14 win, obviously different season, different game. But I noticed one thing that kept standing out to me as I looked over the past several years are the scores. In fact, back in 2018, you guys put up 102 points in that particular game. Coach Blade, for whatever reason, this game has seemed like lots of offense. And based on the teams you have this year, I wouldn't be surprised tonight if we have something similar.
We haven't scored much this year, so if we get more than 14 points, we're stoked. So we have not put on an offensive or a defensive showcase yet. So I don't know what the school. I know Kriesky does a great job, and he's got his kids believing. For us, we have to find our identity. We've been shaking a little bit. That's normal. And like I said, time will tell if it's made us a team that is deeper and a team that can handle the heat, so to speak. But I have no idea how this thing's going to shake out with the score and everything. We have not, like I said, we haven't been in the end zone very much, probably the least amount in my career through the first 2 games. So we're still trying to find out who we even are. And hopefully tonight we can show some improvement.
Coach Kriesky, with this, and, both of you guys know this, but, when I take a look at this region, you talk about, especially now that Dixon's out and Summit's in, the thing about tonight's game, just like any game, number one, you got to be ready. But number two, regardless of what happens, you can't get too up or down because you're going to have 5 more tough ones. So talk about the region and how it's just a grueling schedule every year.
Yes, you look at us, our history, last year we beat Dixon. Like you said, they're no longer in the region. So it's tough. And again, our non-region schedule last year was tough. And then you've got the 5 region games that are tough. And so I feel like going into this year, like I mentioned earlier, we needed some wins before we started region play because, you want the confidence level of this team, the team we have here this year. I wanted their confidence level to be a little bit better than what they've been in the past because, like you mentioned earlier, Independence has, in years past, put up a high number of points against us. And we've preached that all this week. You don't really want to harp on the past, but it's, me every year since I've been in this league facing Coach Blade, he's been able to put up some big numbers against us. And we've had a hard time defensively stopping them. So we're hoping tonight that we can do a better job than what we've done in the past. But this game, whatever happens this game, then you got 4 more. It's 4 more tough games. And so every game in this region is tough. You've got to prepare. It's different than a lot of regions around the state. When you got top to bottom, I feel like any of these teams could go to another region and probably make the playoffs. Even, I'd say it, I would even say I put it up against the Rutherford County League. Top to bottom, I think we're better than that league. But it's going to be tough. And then whatever happens tonight, you're going to have to, get up, start preparing next week. And then, after a non-region game, we have a Summit after that. So it doesn't get easy. It only gets tough. The road gets tougher in the region each week.
Coach Blade, as I looked at the region schedule, to me, you could be 1-4 and be pretty darn good. If you win 2 games in this region, you're definitely good. You go 3-2, you're probably really good.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's 6 of us. You got to win at least 2 of the right ones to get you in the playoffs. And then as this district and region has proven, there's a good chance that someone out of our region is going to represent, the West in the state championship. So, you can see the schedules. Brentwood, got off to a rocky start too. So Ravenwood has dropped 1 early. These are teams that the schedules are very difficult, very, very hard to go through unscathed. Let's just put it that way. As last year, there was a three-way tie for the league lead. But every region game has playoff implications. And then the wonderful thing about it is if you make the playoffs, you're probably going to have to beat 2 of them again. So it makes for extremely difficult season, top to bottom. Again, battle tested. Whatever your non-region, I agree with Coach Kriesky, what he's doing over there. I have nothing but respect for them. And he knows, just like all of us, it's all about different approaches on preparing for getting the best out of your kids for this region. Because if you get through it, you got a chance. And I'll second what Matt said. This is the toughest region, top to bottom. And it's been that way for a minute. So tonight's just another night of great teams matching up, and it's all across the region. There's no gimmies anywhere. So it's all across the region. After tonight, things will shake out and we'll start to get a better look at what the future holds.
Let's talk a little bit about last week's games. Coach Kriesky, your team goes down to Lincoln County, 45-0 win. Haven't given up a point this season so far. And I think we knew, and you knew, obviously, Josh Forsey had a chance to have a big year, but I don't know if you would have even predicted. He has 7 touchdowns on the year after 2 games. And let's face it, last week and probably the week before too, he wasn't exactly playing a lot after the 3rd quarter. So big game for him. Brendan Jones really stepping up for you at quarterback. Last week, a touchdown pass to Kofi Boggs, Gerald Anderson with the touchdown. You have to be pretty pleased not only with Josh, but the way your entire offense has been playing and your defense, obviously.
Yes. First with our offense, we were worried a little, from spring and summer, about our offensive line. That's been a tough position for us the past couple of years. We've been a little bit undersized. These guys have really grown together, and they're a true unit. When you see them out there at practice, getting each other better, and they have got that's been the most improved group, I would say, coming out from the spring and into the fall that we've had, and it's really helped really helped Josh Forsey out. You can see that now he trusts those guys and what they're doing, so he's able to make his cuts and hit the holes and when he needs to be. Josh has great vision, and he sees the field. He's a tough kid, really tough kid. Works hard each day, and he knows it's not about him. That's the good thing. It's about this team. He doesn't care. You ask him how many touchdowns he scored, he probably doesn't even have a clue. All he cares about, he wants to win. He's a winner. He wants to win. He wants people to respect Centennial. He's trying to leave this program with people, leaving a little respect for Centennial football. And that's what I absolutely love coaching him, and we're gonna miss him next year. I'm glad we got him, for a couple more games. And then when you mentioned Brendan Jones, he hasn't, his stats are not nothing crazy or anything right now, but he's leading our offense, doing what we ask him to do. And, he's doing a great job. And, we told him, we put the challenge on him for tonight that he's got to have a good game. He's probably going to have to do more things because it's not going to be Josh Forsey week in and week out. Got to find ways to get the ball to Kofi. Got to find ways to get the ball to Kendon Plowman more. Those guys got to have a good game tonight for us to be successful. It can't just be about Josh Forsey, because I know Coach and his defense are going to do a great job, and we have to open up do other things offensively for us to be successful tonight.
Coach Blade, taking a look at your team last week, Joe Cummings, first-year starter for you, 151 yards, touchdown to familiar name, River Katina. Trey Hartwell running the ball hard. Cummings obviously still learning your system, but, something I noticed, and not to start a quarterback controversy, but something I noticed 2 weeks ago, you put the lanky sophomore in there. The future's pretty darn bright at that position for you.
The future's bright. Cody will get his turn, our sophomore, eventually. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. At that point, the game's over, so they put in the JV group. So obviously that's a different talent level and a different skill set there. So but he is a guy that will be terrific that's not to overshadow or take anything away from him. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. And the future is bright for him. Joe Cummings, he's been under the fire. He's been seeing great defenses. A couple of those interceptions, they literally hit our guy, in the chest. So I'll put him up to, I don't know, there's a quarterback in the whole state. That's any division, any private school, any whatever that has seen more athletes in a 2-week span. And so, yeah, you bet those numbers might be a little skewed. Joe's strong. He is the leader of that offense. He is improving. But let's be real. What one team might run as man-to-man versus another team running man-to-man with Division I guys and safeties, and there's a whole different progression of that needs to take place. And he's in a quarterback to have success, and that means the offensive line needs to be doing great. And our offensive line struggled against a very athletic defensive line. So we're real excited about seeing Joe actually, rebound. He's grown. Every bit of his yards have been earned. And again, we'll see how he keeps going. But we're excited about Joe. We're excited about Cody in the future moving on as well.
Coach Blade, let's start with you on this one. Obviously, the season, like we talked about, doesn't end with the loss tonight. I mean, we talked about the region. It's going to be 5 tough games, but you get a loss tonight, especially you guys are playing at home, maybe puts you behind the 8 ball a little bit. It's not, again, a must win or anything like that, but I think this is one that both of you would admit when you looked at the region schedule this year, you said, you know, this is one maybe we need to win to get where we want to go.
Absolutely. For both teams. I mean, every one of them, because you're not guaranteed. There's no guarantees on any of these 5 games we're going to be playing. There's no guarantees. So you're fighting for your playoff life and your season life each week in these games. So absolutely, this is a must win for both programs and for all the programs playing tonight. This is you want to get started in this region right. It takes a little bit of pressure off, as far as must-win games the whole rest of the way. But these games tonight are very important because they do set the standard and set the race in motion.
Coach Kriesky.
Yeah, just like echoing what he said, it's going to be tough, but it's huge for us. If we can come out here tonight and pull out a win, previous 2 years, we've been start out early, 0-2 in the region, and it's put us behind the 8 ball, and that's in our confidence level. You see with the kids, knowing this league is tough and every game's a must win. You see our past 2 years, our confidence level kind of dropped. So it's huge. We come out here with the win tonight. It'll give us that extra confidence that we need as we move forward in this tough region.
Coach Blade, talking a little offense, we mentioned Cummings and Hartwell and River Katina. Obviously, you got a pretty darn good weapon in Ty Lockwood too, but everybody knows the defense is going to be focusing on him a little bit as well, and some other guys are going to have to step up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what Coach is preaching over there, it takes a team. The offensive line needs to do a better job protecting Joe, so Joe has time to go through his progression. We have another really good receiver in Jack Rummel, who had a couple of tough drops last week, but he had a couple of big catches the week before, and he had a couple in our scrimmages. He's new to the program, but everybody has to do their job, and that's the beautiful thing about high school football. The tough thing, getting everybody to do your job in a society, in a world that doesn't care about anything but me. We're fighting a lot of different demons there to get a team to play as a team and accountable to each other. But everybody has to do their job. When they do that, then if you double cover one, somebody else is open. If you play it honest, some of those guys with more skills need to put those on the forefront there. So we look forward to us growing as a team and getting better each week with those guys getting more and more involved.
Coach Kriesky, to me, when I look at your team, and like Lockwood, let's face it, those guys are going to have big games as the year progresses, but you're going to have defenses, unless they're not doing their homework, they're going to be focusing on Lockwood. They're going to be focusing on Cannon Plowman. But to me, a sign that your team has really improved offensively. You haven't seen huge stats from Cannon. Doesn't mean he hadn't played well. But last year, I think for your team to have a good game, Plowman had to have big time stats, and you really haven't seen that this year. You're more multifaceted on offense and have more weapons, it seems.
Yes, we do. And like we mentioned earlier, those guys hadn't had to have big games so far, but they will tonight for us to come out on top. One of the things, we're trying to do, I know Coach has seen us, and we're trying to be a more ball control offense, kind of keep that clock running, keep it going, to hopefully to keep us in the game in the fourth quarter where, get, again, confidence. That's a big word. You've heard me say it numerous times. That's a big thing for these guys. Knowing that we get to the fourth quarter, we're in the game. Some things have gone our way. So that's been huge for us. But moving forward, we know we have to get Cannon Plowman has to touch the ball. Kanai Johnson has touched the ball. Kofi Boggs has to touch the ball. Those guys have to be successful. Brandon Jones has to, have more pass completions. And so we have to spread it out offensively because we know, if they stop Josh Forsey, that can't be our only answer. It has to be other things that happen offensively for us. We've been fortunate the past 2 weeks that, we've pretty much only had to use him, but that will not be the case tonight. Again, like we mentioned, our offensive line is going to have to play well. Receiver, just everybody, the whole team, offensively, defensive, special team. It's going to have, it's going to come down to everyone playing well. Again, we've been fortunate, penalties. We have not had many penalties, and that was kind of one thing that we struggled with last year on both sides of the ball. So we have to have that. Our turnovers offensively, we have not turned the ball over like we've done in the past. That's helped us out. Defensively, we've created some turnovers. So again, like I mentioned, the ball has bounced our way the past 2 weeks. We've preached all week to kids. It's going to be a lot tougher this tonight. And so it's a challenge. I know both teams can't wait to get out on the field tonight. It's going to be a good night for both teams and fans.
Coach Blade, couple tough weeks defensively. Obviously, the opponent's pretty darn tough too. What kind of improvements are you expecting or looking for from your team starting tonight, going into region play?
Basic stuff, getting off, attacking on defense, attacking the blockers and getting off blocks, improved tackling, improved communication, but really basic stuff. We're not, we're getting blown off the ball. We have been, our front seven has been sieve, so we have to tighten things down. I mean, and really, they're learning a new defense and they've learned it in the fire. They're learning new terminology, new responsibilities. So we're hoping that, again, with time, and competition, we'll keep improving. But our battle call this week is just the simple things, getting off a block, and better tackling, better reads, better tackling. I mean, it sounds simple, but it ain't easy type of thing. So for us to even have a chance moving forward in this game or the rest of the season, if we're not doing those little things a whole lot better, then, it'll be a long year. If we do, then it should be, we can get this thing back on track.
It's interesting you mentioned fundamentals. I think regardless of the sport, fundamentals travel. You do your job fundamentally, no matter the sport, it tends to work out a little bit better for your team. Coach Kriesky, your team has obviously played very well defensively. Could you have imagined going in that you would be pitching 2 shutouts to start the season? I mean, you got to be super excited about that. And that being said, where are some areas you still need to improve?
Yes, I mean, we're really ecstatic about the past 2 weeks, but we know we've got to improve. One, we've got to tackle better on the perimeter. These guys, they're going to be a little bit better athletes than what we've faced the past 2 weeks. We know tonight that's been one of the point of emphasis this week in practice is tackling better on the perimeter. We also know that our defensive line, the 2 Scruggs brothers, are going to have a good game tonight to help us to slow down the run game. Indy's got weapons, they've got weapons all over the field. You can't just focus on the run, can't just focus on the pass, and we hope tonight's not the night that Coach Blade and his offense gets going, because I know it's going to get going soon. Because if you look at Coach Blade and his teams in the past, they always improve week in and week out. So we just hope just one more week they don't do that for us, for our sake. But we're going to have to play. All 11 guys are going to have to fly the football every single play. We got to pursue the ball. We said we got to tackle better, tackle perimeter, and our D line is going to have a great game for us to be successful.
All right, gentlemen, we're getting short on time here. I'm going to pick one side of the ball for each of you. We'll start with Coach Blade. Coach, give me a couple of keys tonight offensively for Independence to be successful.
Control the ball. Don't we've turned it over a whole year's worth in the last 2 games, And the first game, we really had a lot of penalties. I think if we're not turning it over and we're not shooting ourselves in the foot with getting it second and long and third and forever on the stupid penalties, if we can avoid that and just get back to us doing what we do, then I think that gives us a chance.
Coach Kriesky, how about for you on the defensive side? I know you mentioned 11 guys flying to the ball. What are some other keys for you tonight?
Everybody's just going to have to read their keys and do what they're supposed to be doing. We can't have any, explosive plays, big plays. You looked at us in the past, playing independence, we've given up big plays defensively. So we can't give explosive plays, tackle on the perimeter. We've got to create turnovers. We've got to give our offense an extra opportunity to score because it's going to be tough for us tonight. So if we can create some turnovers, not give up explosive plays, and tackle well on the perimeter, hopefully we'll have some success tonight.
Gentlemen, I appreciate you being here talking about tonight's WCTV game of the week.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Coach Joins.
Thank you for joining us for the Coaches Show. We'll see you next time.